Okay, I just had to stop the recording and restart it. Okay, so where we're at right now, where's my screen share? Yeah, 29th. So 28th into the 29th overnight, we have Venus moving into Libra, as I was saying. We have the moon in Scorpio. It is waxing. We just had a conjunction to the South Node in Scorpio where we needed to release some things, and somebody released something. Uh, Somebody took a big old dump, but this can be just a little challenging with the moon conjuncting the South Node because it's the realization that we need to let go of perhaps some obsessive patterns or emotional issues. And we may be finding out some things, in the general public that we did not know about before. And also dealing with some restrictions, laws, government, obstacles, our own restrictions, our own personal obstacles, and the energy of Uranus, which is trying to push us into the new. It is the future. This is technology again. It's also the ruler of the sign that Saturn's in. So there could be some kind of an issue with electricity, technology, the power grid that could come up. We're having another heat wave this week in California. Um, but this all has to do with antiquated, old structures that need to be updated. It can have to do with technology or electricity. Um, and Scorpio is associated with spying and hacking, viruses. So we'll see. And also, Mars here, it is being aspected. So there can be some kind of, maybe there would be some kind of talk about an attack on infrastructure technologically, or our utility infrastructure. That's a possibility. Um, this could also be, between the moon square to Pluto the day before and now this, it seems like we may be hearing more stuff about nuclear exchanges. I still feel like it's just amping up at this stage. The talk about it, I don't really feel like it might be happening. Hopefully not. But we could be hearing about it because those things are coming up. Um, yeah, so over the course of the day on the 29th, what do we got here? Mars is making a trine to Saturn, so hopefully in any circumstances that involve action and angry words, hopefully cooler heads prevail with that Saturn there. Hopefully drawing some boundaries and creating a restriction, if it comes to any kind of aggression. Hopefully it's just talk right now. Mercury is still in retrograde and it's about to go direct. So it is super duper slow, which means it's super strong right now, but it's also opposing Neptune. So don't believe everything that you hear. A lot of what comes across can be an illusion. Um, by the same token, we have to be aware and hopefully we're not deluding ourselves in any way. Um, Taking a really good hard look at details and trying to see what is practical versus what is not necessarily imaginary, but what could be like illusionary or too optimistic, right? Because we had the sun opposing Jupiter that could have brought a lot of more over expansion, over commitment, over optimism, right? So that can lead to overextending oneself. And Venus is also going to oppose Jupiter over the next couple of days after this, now that she's in Libra, right? So we're still in the Mercury retrograde. We're still needing to process practical details, always weighing the practical of what is concrete and real and the details and the information that we do have versus the illusion that we might be presented with or the lack of clarity, um, going forward with whatever you've got and maybe not putting the fine, I mean, the finishing touches on something until that Mercury gets away from, uh, goes direct and gets away from Neptune. So there's still a little bit of lack of clarity. There's still the possibility for miscommunications, um, and a lot of tension, perhaps, between what we are trying to perfect, what we're trying to understand. Um, Also, things having to do with faith and spirituality and our connection to the divine, because that is Pisces, versus what is practical. You know, we have to live a practical, everyday, physical life, but we do need to take care of and cultivate our inner world, our inner spirituality, and the moon making a sextile to um, Mercury in retrograde perhaps can be our intuition and spirit talking to us and showing us the things that we didn't see before. If we're always pursuing the truth, you know, if we ask for the truth, we'll get the truth. But also to the degree that we are seeing the truth within ourselves and um, not deluding ourselves or lying to ourselves or lying to other people, because liars will get more lies, deceivers get more deceit. So, I mean, you can't run around complaining that everyone screws you over and stabs you in the back and lies and cheats if you're doing the same, right? Um, but we also can't say we love the truth if we participate in covering up lies or um, participating and supporting other people's delusion. So the closer we get to the truth, the more we want to call things out for what they are. And and that could be hard when other people maybe don't want to see it. Anyway, so there's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of investigation, details, and information coming up again that we don't really know about. We don't know all the facts. We don't know all the details. And that is contributing to this, the Neptune, um, to how this is playing out with the Mercury opposite Neptune. There are things we are seeing, and there's things that we're just not going to see, but they are happening. They're just happening behind the scenes, right? Because it's going to take a while for Mercury to come direct, and then everything starts to get sorted out. Things start to get clearer. We get the information we need. People start calling us back. Things start moving again after Mercury goes direct. So that's the 29th. That's an 8-day. If I didn't mention, Wednesday, the day before the 28th, is 7, a challenge, right? Spiritual tests going on here. And so we're at the 8 by Thursday, the 29th. The energy is almost to the 9. So there's something, again, playing out all week that culminates on Friday, which is the 30th, which is the 9 day. But here on the 29th, moon in Scorpio, we're going to be talking a lot about scorpionic themes. What is that? Research, investigation, secrets, death, sex, taxes, criminality, criminal syndicates, manipulation, fears, deep depth psychology, the shadow and the workings of our subconscious have a lot to do with Scorpio. So Scorpio themes. So moving to the next day on the 30th, again, this is the 9th, like I said. This is the 9 day. I shouldn't say the 9th, I'll confuse people. September 30th. Again, add the date, the day, the year, the day, and the month, and you get a 9. So we're ending. There is something that is ending the cycle that started with the 1. The moon is in Sagittarius, which is all about truth and justice. So the research and the details and the secrets and the scandals that whatever happened over the days before preceding, from like Wednesday and Thursday, whatever was going on, we come to some kind of a truth with the moon in Sagittarius. So starting early in the day, like probably overnight, I'm going to say, we get a sextile from the moon to Venus, now in Libra, positive, supportive for relationships, justice, balancing out the scales with Libra. Positive for Libra placements if you have anything in the first few degrees of Libra. And the moon is positively aspecting the sun, which is generally upbeat, uplifting, especially because the moon earlier, after it sextiles Venus, it makes trine to Jupiter. So there is some sort of sense of positivity, expansion, fortune, luck. It's good for relationships in general. It seems like things are moving forward positively on this day overall. Okay. And that's Friday. So whatever happens, whatever comes out, whatever stuff we're going through that we have to release, we feel better by Friday. We might get some tough news over the week. Maybe there's some crazy stuff happening on the news. Who knows if it's even true? Who knows if it's even true? Because like with these aspects with Mercury retrograde opposing Neptune, some of it won't be true and some of it will be true. And there are things being exposed that were hidden and could be quite shocking over the course of the week. So I expect there to be a lot of juicy headlines, and I may be hopefully doing a little more recording some more content, hopefully, other than my weekly stuff. There's some things that I've been wanting to sit down and analyze, so I just might do it on those days. Sounds good to me. I'm waiting for the new moon because that's my new projects. So yeah, by the end of the week, we're having more positive aspects into the weekend. Friday looks fairly good, fairly positive, upbeat. So then we go into Saturday. That's October 1st. And because the month changes, the numbers change. So we go back down to an 8 with the number cycle. So that could be something that harkens back to Thursday, which was an 8. That could be perhaps we come to some level with an issue on that 8 day on Thursday, the 29th. But maybe we still have a little bit more processing to do or steps to take. Maybe that's the moon sextiling Venus and trining Jupiter. Something needs to be perfected, or whatever it is, we feel like we can go back and take action. Maybe that's getting a second chance at something, or something that we thought was going to pass us by suddenly pans out in a way we didn't expect. That could be. The moon will be in Sagittarius again on October 1st, and it is making a square to the Mercury opposite Neptune, which will help us to see the things that we didn't see before and dispel the illusion. But before it does, it makes an opposition to Mars. So again, there is this sort of, I don't want to say aggressive, but let's say assertiveness when it comes to communication, when it comes to moving things forward, taking action. Perhaps an action is taken, and then there's a little bit of a fogginess or lack of clarity surrounding the actions. Don't forget, things can be misinterpreted. We're still under the Mercury retrograde, and it's opposite to Neptune. So, this can be perhaps misinterpreting something and getting upset about it, but it wasn't said or done in the way the intention was different than what we interpret. That could be. So, that can help us to see where we're projecting onto other people, where we're not communicating clearly, where we're assuming, perhaps because we're too self-focused, we could be assuming that the other person is on the same page. We may not be fully listening. This can be sort of this aspect where you're so sure that you understand what the other person is saying that you cut them off and you don't even let them finish because you're so convinced that you're right about something. This could be regarding the Venus opposition to Jupiter, because it's on the same day. Jupiter will be exactly opposite Venus. So again, we are going back to that theme of balancing out my perspective and the other person's perspective, their truth, their beliefs, my truth, and somehow being able to meet in the middle. But you can't really do that if you're only seeing things from your own perspective. I mean, flip it around. If you're super codependent, you're always thinking about the other person's perspective and caring about what other people think and feel, then you're going to get tripped up by this also, because you may be assuming that they think and feel one way, and then you act accordingly and you were wrong the whole time. But that's because you don't have the balance between, the inner and the outer, the self and the other. So, Venus opposite Jupiter is, I mean, that's very positive. Most Jupiter aspects are positive, but it can be excessive and going overboard and over optimistic and overextending oneself too. So be careful with all of that. I would say also, starting around this day, be careful traveling. This does have to do with communications, but Mercury retrograde also has to do with travel. So I wonder if over the September 30th and October 1st, if we start hearing something about transportation and possibly long distance and overseas travel, because we are dealing with Jupiter and with the moon in Sagittarius, I wonder if we'll hear more information about some strikes or layoffs or delays that can be. Um, maybe because we thought we averted something, maybe that comes back up again over the week, probably will. And it'll probably be financial, maybe because people are not maybe getting consideration that they want. Or if there's some kind of backroom dealings, and somebody comes out and exposes it, and now we don't have an accord because we have information that we didn't have before, or you were proceeding on faulty information, and then we suddenly get some kind of exposure. That could be with this. So yeah, the 10th is Saturday, so that's happening over the weekend again, and the moon is making a sextile to Saturn to start off the day early. And so there's this real need to use wisdom and prudence and caution with Saturn. All of these things are coming into play, and hopefully the Mars trine to Saturn brought some kind of stability or level-headedness. But Mars is starting to go out of bounds from here on out in terms of declination. And the moon will be out of bounds. Wow, look at that. So the moon will be, as far as I see it go, is 26, 27 degrees south declination, which tends to be more internal than external, or it could have to do with past as opposed to the present and the future. It's out of bounds, so it has nothing to really anchor to. So we can see some kind of extremes here. But anyway, back to Mars. Mars is going, when it hits 23 degrees of north declination, then I think it's considered to be out of bounds, or maybe it's like 23 and a half. So it is starting to go out of bounds, which will mean that anything Mars related will be more pronounced, more over the top. But So over the weekend, um, the moon being out of bounds, it can be excessively introverted. I don't know. I'm like not really all that well versed in how the, like, let's say north declination versus south declination, how those function. I kind of look at it like externalization versus internalization. So again, I mean, this is internal. Maybe this is internal investigations into agencies, groups, I don't know, unions. Maybe this is internal investigations. And I mean, that can apply to our own internal investigations, looking into our own beliefs, because the moon is in Sagittarius, and maybe withdrawing to you into your own culture, because I'm thinking about how Sagittarius has to do with the world at large, foreign cultures that are foreign to us, and belief systems. So maybe this could be a withdrawing into our own country or culture or belief systems internally, with that um, moon at so far out of bounds into the I mean, on the southern declination. So we'll see how that turns out, because it is making a sextile to Saturn, which does represent authority in Aquarius, groups and networks, organizations. So this could be a beginning into an investigation into organizations. It'd be interesting to see how that all pans out. But it is an eight. Eight does have to do with business and like material and financial achievement. Anyway, we are dealing with things that have to do with Sagittarius, and coming from the day before where the moon made that sextile to Venus and a trine to Jupiter. This all has to do with, again, all those Sagittarian themes: justice, law, religion, belief systems. These are all these things. All of these things are happening and being affected on some level. And so, if we're thinking about the transportation issue, this could be travel abroad, which, I started reading maybe about a month ago about all these big tours being canceled. It's like, what do they know? What do they know? Like, what's going on? Like, are they not going to be able to make money? Are they not going to be able to have the fuel to, is there going to be a fuel shortage, right? So, Neptune and Pisces, that's fuel resources, and Mercury in Virgo, Mercury is transportation, and the moon squaring the Neptune and Mercury. There could be things coming up about travel here. Absolutely. And it could be air travel, could be foreign travel, along with all the other things that are going on. And financially, you know, financially, it just probably may not make sense for people to travel if the cost of travel is going up. In terms of airfare, Jupiter and Sagittarius to rule the airline industry. So that's something interesting. We'll see how that goes. So there could be, I don't know, I kept thinking, wondering if there would be some sort of airline, a strike related to the airlines here in the United States, because when I was when it came up and I was looking at it and I thought, and I did do a little research. There is something going on in Europe, but I don't know. There's a potential for us here in the United States, something affecting travel, because obviously, if there's stuff going on in Europe, and it feels unstable, that could affect international travel there in Europe to and from the United States and Europe. Who knows? We'll see what happens. That's October 1st. So now we're getting into the second, which is Sunday, wrapping up the week. And that is another 9. So there's another ending. It's kind of weird how it flip-flops back and forth. It goes from an 8 to a 9 to an 8 to a 9. So I would expect changes. That it to me indicates a sudden reversal, a change unexpectedly. And on the 2nd, we have the moon in Capricorn, and it will make a square to Venus and Jupiter. So there is a sense of needing to perhaps buckle down, make decisions, be responsible, be in our integrity. That's all Capricorn. And the moon in Capricorn is work and achievement oriented, goal oriented. So perhaps taking stock of Venus, our relationships and our finances, and Jupiter, whatever luck and abundance and positivity and optimism. Maybe it has to do with legal and the application of laws, or it could be transportation. This can be management. That's Capricorn. Making some kind of a decision. And we are going to have on Sunday the first quarter square of the moon, which is it's called crisis in conscience, where the crisis is internal. There is an issue internally, whether it's within ourselves personally or internally within a company. Remember what I was talking about, internal investigations. So there is something about management and companies and business and having to make a decision regarding the bottom line or who to do business with or employees, even cutting up fluff. And perhaps there are new laws or regulations. I'm thinking like, how would you would apply that to like a company, a structure of a company or an industry regarding regulations. And Mercury's direct on this day. So I find that the days that, let's say, Mercury goes retrograde or direct are the days when we get important information. Could be a day before, could be a day after. During that, like a 3-day time period, the day of, the day before, and the day after, we're getting important information. So we need to pay attention to whatever is going on at this time, because we're getting an internal signal of the changes that are going to happen or the direction that we need to take over the course of this lunar cycle. And we're halfway between the new moon and the full moon, which will occur in Aries. So internally, we kind of know that there's something happening or that we need to act or make a change or prepare or deal with something. Or we're getting a clearer idea of where we're going moving forward now that Mercury is direct, but we can have some things come up on that day because that tends to be one of the days that is a little bit more dicey sometimes with the when we talk about Mercury retrograde and the effects. Um, again, the station and the station of the direct of the retrograde or the direct motion. So we reach some kind of a milestone here. Now, starting from this date of the second, because Mercury is direct, things will start to move forward. We can start to take action on things, perhaps because they are moving forward, but we're still wrapping up the details. We still got Mercury's at 25 Virgo. It still has to gain speed and get back into Libra. And then it will reach 9 degrees of Libra and then be out of its shadow because 9 degrees is where it went retrograde. And interestingly, the sun is right there. So the sun will give us some kind of indication, being at that direct degree, where it's like we have this 3-phase of Mercury retrograde. It's the retrograde part, the conjunctions, the aspects that Mercury makes, and then it goes direct, and then the aspects that it makes in its direct motion. But there's something that we will probably see or understand or have highlighted to us with the sun there, regarding what the Mercury retrograde was about for us personally, or collectively, whatever's happening, out in public, in the world. So we'll start to get some clarity from the second on. And I have a few minutes left, so there was something that I wanted to talk about. I'll talk about it a little bit, and then I think I'll make a separate video for this. So, in addition to the planets and the stars, there are several asteroids that I do like to look at. So I think I will go to my Serenu. I like the name of this website, Serenu. It makes me think of serenity. I am in my Serenu now. All right, so yeah, I don't know if, let's see, pausing the screen, sharing, because I want to share a different screen. I want to share my desktop. There we go. Yay. This is Serenu. So it's an asteroid ephemeris. So if you're interested in finding out where certain asteroids are in your chart or transiting right now, they're usually most potent when they are conjunct a planet or a point in, let's say, in your birth chart. or in a conjunct to a transiting planet. Although their influence, I have seen it where planets are making aspects, but not necessarily conjunctions. But then I have to think that if it's playing out through a certain person, that they may have planets or points in their birth chart that are affecting it. But so last year in November, I was reading something about the NASA DART mission. And what that is they were launching a mission to target an asteroid. And the name of the asteroid is Didymus. I don't think I have it on here. Yeah, I don't. Anyway, so Didymus is oh, you know what? It's probably on my other browser. You wouldn't believe how many freaking windows I have open. Like 50. Oh, it's so hard to let go. Is Didymus on this one? Where the hell is Didymus? This is terrible. Can't even find it. This is a Mercury retrograde type project. All these freaking loose ends. All right, we're not going to talk about Didymus today. All right, we're not going to talk about Didymus. We're just going to talk about asteroids. So if you want to go to Serenu, you can set up some additional objects. If you know the numbers of the asteroids, they're all numbered. You can sort them by the degree of the zodiac, which is what I usually do. Unless I am looking for something, then I'll put it in alphabetical order. But I like to do it usually by the degree of the zodiac. That way you could see if the asteroid is making any conjunctions to transiting planets. So scrolling down here, let's see what's going on. We have Jupiter, which is retrograde, and Jupiter was conjunct for a long time with Salacia while it was direct and then retrograded. And that I saw a lot of salaciousness. For instance, a lot of the lawsuits that were being filed were about defamation. So that's slander, right? That falls under slander, defamation. Also salacious, just salacious in general, salty gossip. And so what else we got? Oh, here's Didymus. All right, so Didymus, I'm gonna talk more about it in a separate video. Didymus is a twin, and the asteroid is named for Didymus. I'll get into what the meaning of that is, but just know for now it deals with twins. It's a twin. And so the DART mission is going to target the moon. I guess it's a moon, it's a satellite of Didymus, which is called Dimorphos. And the meanings of the words themselves are very interesting. And so I did a lot of deep research into what symbolically could be the occult hidden meaning behind what's playing out. You know, I have a lot of friends who like just believe that, you know, space is a simulation and it doesn't exist physically, which that could be true. I don't really know. But what I take on what's going on the surface and I look beneath it, I'm looking at the metaphorical meanings. Like, what does this mean as a metaphor, right? And Didymus and Dimorphos, Didymus being a twin and being of dual nature, and Dimorphos meaning having a dual state, existing in a dual state. And I'm thinking about what that means in terms of consciousness. Because here we are, we're going to try to knock this moon off its orbit of, so the moon is orbiting an asteroid, and it's basically a test to see if we can divert asteroids that are coming to Earth. So very interesting. So we've got Didymus. Didymus is going to be activated throughout the course of Libra season, getting to the end of Libra season. Now, the DART mission is supposed to hit Didymus's moon Dimorphos on Monday, the 26th. It's a 5-day. And the moon's going to be in Libra. So 26. That's when we have that Mercury Venus at 27 of Virgo trine to Pluto. That's very interesting. And then the moon will square Pluto after that. The reason why I'm looking at that is because Pluto is square to Didymus. Pluto's destruction, right? Underworld god. So what are we're destroying something here, or knocking something out of its orbit that represents duality, the twin concept, and I'm going to keep a close watch on what happens, because I feel like, this is sort of an as above, so below kind of a thing playing out with Didymus. So definitely needs its own video. But let me just go through quickly, and I'm just gonna point out like some of the asteroids that are of interest to me. So I'm looking at Albion, which is the ancient name of Great Britain. It's also from William Blake's writings. Albion was the primordial man, and I think he had I forget what they're called, 4 aspects of himself, which makes me think of earth, air, fire, and water. So this is very interesting. Albion, which is conjunct asteroid aura. So we can literally think of the aura and what the implications have to do with that. So Albion being of quadruple nature, it's almost sort of like that concept of the union of the scattered pieces, body parts uh, of Osiris, putting him back together. It's like the fragmentation and the union of the fragments. Now, I don't know if I put in union, but there is an asteroid union, and it is making an aspect to Albion. And so that brings into focus this sort of concept of the British what would they call not colonies, but that's the word I'm thinking of. territories. There's another word. But anyway, I'm wanting to reunite the kingdom in a sense and bring back the ancient Albion, the lion. Isn't that like the Lion of Albion? That's a song. Hmm, maybe another video. All right, so I'm looking at Albion, I'm looking at Union, I'm looking at Aura. Interesting. Alicanto is an interesting one. It's fairly new to this database. It's not new in terms of asteroids, I don't think, but it is another um, sort of phoenix mythology, the Alicanto bird. I think it comes from Peru, the myth, and it has to do with treasure and the bird. The bird has metallic wings or feathers. It leads you to treasure, but it can lead you to ruin. It's a very interesting mythology. It's very, very kind of cool sort of take on that myth. Alicanto. What else is going on? Asclepius came up last week. I think maybe Mars might have been. That's one of the reasons why I started thinking about whistleblowers, because Asclepius has to do with tattletales, and that's at 10 Gemini. Mars has been conjunct Memoria, so there has been triggering of memories, Memoria, memorial, and will conjunct Altagira, which has to do with being detached or withdrawing and detaching from a situation. Can be good, can be bad. And the Achilles heel, weakness, maybe having to do with a pattern of detaching or withdrawing or ghosting even on a situation. And that's sort of a source of weakness. Achilles can play out in a lot of different ways. So getting into Cancer, what's interesting? Hecate, Pallas. Pallas is warrior, princess, warrior queen, strategy and patterns. Hecate is the triple goddess, the goddess of the crossroads, associated with witchcraft and spells, and another one of those sort of past, present, future triplicities. Um, there's a few things that I associate with this sort of idea of past, present, future, or third time's the charm, third pass of something, but also being guided by, this is an asteroid that is associated with the dark feminine. Dark, just means hidden, occulted, whatever. It's not necessarily evil. We've got DNA at 10 degrees of Cancer. That's always a fun one to look at. Hades, 13. Hades, another underworld god. Chronos, time. Saturn related. Echeclus, Echeclus. That to me has to do with another one of those like three times passes, like also going back and looking at a situation from the past and gaining new knowledge from it. Things that come up, like this is unsolved cases, like really old cold cases. Oftentimes that can be an Ashiclus theme. What else? Mm, just looking at some of the things that are being highlighted right now. Well, going through Virgo, we've had Apollo, Theros, which is a centaur, Aphetus. It has a lot to do with protecting, um, keeping safe, but also has to do with loyalties to groups. There's also element possibly of criminality. And so the Venus going over Eros, which is erotic sexuality, and then there's Coronis. This isn't for the exact date, so it actually might be different. Oh no, it is. All right, Mercury here going over Coronis. That was active during the Corona outbreak. Coronis has to do with crown. So crown symbolism there. Amor, Taureau can be bullies and fights, bloody fights, Hopi, displaced people. This could have a lot to do with, the immigration stuff. Anyway, just some stuff I thought I'd share because I think it's really cool. The asteroids. There's really nothing else that I want to get into right now specifically. Just want to share that. So that pretty much wraps it up. You can find me at Astrolunachick on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can email me at astrolunachick@gmail.com if you're looking for a reading. I'm still running the $50 retrograde special, which just looks at your retrograde story. So email me if you want details on that, and I will talk to you all soon. Take care. Oh, I forgot to mention etalk.tv. My shows are running twice a week, I think, or 3 times a week. I'm definitely on Sundays, 10 a.m. Pacific. Um, my Astrolunachick's Guide to the Universe. Check it out. Check out the station. It's really cool. It's still kind of like coming together, but there's a lot of great shows on there, and not just me, but it is live, not live, but like 24-hour streaming talk radio, but focusing on paranormal and metaphysical type topics. So if you're into that, definitely check out etalk.tv and you can find me there. So until next time, have a great week.